Hey everyone, welcome back. So I thought while we are all kind of stuck at home, I would film another book haul. I've been collecting a bunch of books for the past couple of months, I guess, since the last book haul. And I'm just gonna show you what I got. So these are from like free to maybe like a $2 price range. Yes, and I did want to say that I did all of this shopping like at thrift stores and stuff before everything shut down, just so you're aware. So the first one is this Premier World Atlas, and it is really, it's just an atlas, so there's nothing like super unique about it. But we don't have an atlas right now, and this one is pretty comprehensive. And it's large, and I thought that would be good to have in our collection. This one I got from our local hospital. The library in the hospital has that box of free books, and they just continually, there's only like a handful of books in the box at one time, but I found this one in there, and I'm kind of happy to have an atlas on hand. I know you can find everything online, but anyway, next up, Uninvited. So I have this book, Uninvited by Lisa Turkhurst, and this is the like Bible study guide. And when do you find a study guide or a Bible study at the thrift store that has not been used? Like almost never. So I definitely picked this one up so that I can do the study book while I read the book, because I haven't read the book yet, so that will be coming. This book, The Shape of Family by Shilpi Samaya Gowda. This was actually a Christmas present from one of my friends, and I have never heard of this author or this book. So this one is going to be a complete surprise for me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this one's all about. I assume something to do with family. I think it's a contemporary, I'm thinking. Yeah, so I guess we'll see. I got Thunder. These, I think the rest, I got these from two more places, the thrift store and then one I'll tell you about later. So these were from the thrift store. Thunder, which is a Stone Braid Chronicles novel by Bonnie S. Calhoun. This is, honestly, I don't know anything about it. I kind of went off of the cover, and then I saw that it was published by Revel Books. Or Revel Publishing Group, and I know that's a Christian publishing house, so the cover looks fantastical, and if it's got a Christian element to it, I think it might be a good one. Next up, we'll go with this one. 131 Christians Everyone Should Know. I thought this would be super interesting because it literally just goes through different people of history, and I guess talks about maybe something noteworthy that they did for history or for Christ or something. I'm not sure, but I thought this would be really interesting to go through. I also got By This Name by John R. Cross. I feel like one of my friends had read this and recommended it. I think, if I have my information correct, then that's the case. But, so yeah, I saw this one, and I know I've seen it in other places, and I know that I've seen it around, so I wanted to give this one a shot. I don't really know what it is. Is it like, it almost looks to me like an in-depth look through the Bible is what I'm guessing this is. So that would be really interesting. So I've got that one. Let me know if you guys have read this one. The next one is Deadfall by Robert Leparulo. I know that he is a Christian author, and I think his books are a little bit strange. I feel like they might be in the same wheelhouse as like Ted Dekker and Frank Peretti, perhaps. So I've never read one of his books, but I'm interested, so we'll see. Next up is Free Fall by Kristen Heitzman. If you guys watched the stationary book tag that I did a few weeks back, I mentioned Kristen Heitzman's, what is it called? The Rose Legacy trilogy, is that what it's called? I really like that trilogy, and so I figured this one is, I believe, more of a contemporary novel, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she brings through contemporary. Alright, Graceling by Kristen Cashore. Basically, the cover caught my eye on this one, and it's fantasy, and it was super cheap, so I kind of bought it on a whim. I think it will be interesting. Since I bought this, I saw this on one of Emily's bookshelves, Books with Emily Fox. I saw this in the background on one of her shelves, so that's kind of cool. See how that one goes. Next up, I've got a number of books here. My mom's place of work was having a book sale by donation, so I went there the one day to look through to see what kind of books were available, and I picked up a few. So I don't know too many, or I don't know too much about any of these books, and they're all series, but none of them are book one, unfortunately. So I am going to have to see if I can find book one in thrift stores or borrow it from the library when the library reopens. But I will tell you that I got these two. This is book 3 and book 4 of the Scottish Crown series. They look kind of medieval, but perhaps also fantasy. I'm not super sure at all. But I'm interested to find out what this series is all about. So I'll have to find book 1 and 2. And then these two, this is book 2 and book 3 of the Yukon Quest series by Tracy Peterson. The reason why I picked these ones up is because I really love one of Tracy Peterson's books. I believe it's called Texas Angel. I have it on my shelf, and I really need to reread that one because I love it. So I figured if I liked one of Tracy Peterson's older books, I might like this series as well. So I'll have to find book 1 for that series somewhere. And then we've got Moment of Truth by Sally John. This is book 3 of a series. I don't know what this series is called. It doesn't say anywhere on the book what the series is called, but yeah, so this one I really have no idea what it's about either. I just kind of read the synopsis. This was like weeks ago, so I don't remember what I read on the back of all of these, but yeah, so looking forward to that. I'm gonna have to like figure out a way to take off all the stickers. Like I tried, but they're not coming off very nice, so I'm gonna have to use like Glue Gun or something. But, and then one more from that donation book box. Is The Cherokee Rose, A Place to Call Home, book 1. This one, I was really interested in this one because I have never read any books with a Native American main character or anything really of the Native American culture, so I was really interested in reading this book, and I hope it does a good job of representing that culture. Alright, not done yet. Next one is Seagrass Pier by Colleen Coble. This one I got from my friend Chantel at An Intentional Life, and she had read this one a few months back and didn't care for it so much, but knew that I had kind of started collecting some Colleen Coble books, so I've got this one to read to see how I feel about it. Next up, The Captive Maiden by Melanie Dickerson. If you have been following my book hauls, you know that I've been collecting this series by Melanie Dickerson. This is like fairy tale retellings. So I'm assuming by the cover that this one is Cinderella retelling. I've read 2 of them already, and, or have I just read 1? I think I may have only just read 1, the Snow White retelling, which I really liked. So I want to get the rest of the series for this. I don't know if this series has a name. Doesn't look like it, but anyway, I like these books. The next up I have are these two really vintage collectible books, and I really love the way they look. One is Peter Pan and one is Robin Hood. There were a number of other books that belonged to the same series, like it had the same hardcover design at the thrift store, but I wasn't really interested in those stories. I can't remember which ones they were, but I wasn't super interested in them. So I left them there and I just picked up these two. They have really vintage art style for the illustrations, and then I wanted to find the year. 1952. So these are really old and I really like the way they look. All right, moving along. I've got Wild at Heart by John Eldredge. This one, I remember when this one came out because it was kind of like the partner to Captivating by, is it Stacey Eldredge? Yeah, I think so. So his wife, perhaps? And that one is a book about women and following God, and this one I believe is about men and following God, so I like that idea of having both companion books together. The Impact of a Single Event by R.L. Prendergast. This one, I honestly saw the cover and it really intrigued me. So, oh wow! It's a signed copy by the author. That's cool. I wonder if this is a local author then? It was printed and bound in Canada. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into where this author is from, but that's kind of cool. This is my first author signed copy of a book. I don't remember exactly what this book is about, but it had something to do with a journey across Canada. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It would be kind of neat to look at someone else's perspective of my country. So moving on, Eye of the Sword by Karen Henley. This is book 2 of the Angelian Circle. Unfortunately, it's book 2. I don't have book 1, but this one is definitely fantasy, and I believe it is also written by a Christian author. So pretty excited to look through this one as well. I love fantasy books that have a Christian twist to it, so looking forward to that one. Okay, so this one I actually bought at the Dollar Tree, and so it was $1.25, and it's like this really, like, it seems like pretty high quality, especially for the dollar store, but it is a watercolor book, so just add watercolor, and it's got some really neat techniques and illustrations, so I think this will be really, really nice, and I'm kind of surprised that a book like this was at the dollar store for $1.25. Like, that's pretty cool. My stack here is growing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to lift it all. Okay, I got a few left. The Case for a Creator by Lee Strobel. I have The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel as well. I haven't read that one. I believe I started it at one point. I have watched the movie, and I know that my friend Oshina from Oshina Gotta Read 'Em All, she's going through all of these books right now, and yeah, I just thought it would be nice to have the next one in the collection. I don't know how many Case for books he's got. Looks like he also has The Case for Faith, but that might be it. So it might be a 3-book series. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I've got that one. And then I've got The Map of Time by Felix J. Palma. This one completely was a cover buy. Like, this cover is awesome. Like, I want to watch this movie. I'm just looking so forward to reading this book. So yeah, I have no idea what it's about. It looks steampunky. I'm there for it. The next one I've got is Merlin by Stephen Lawhead. I don't know if it's Stephen Lawhead or Stephen Lawhead, but I know that he's a Christian author. And upon looking through this book a little bit, I see that he has also Arthur. There's a little advertisement for the next book in the series, and I thought there were a few more. Oh yeah, okay, so this is the Pendragon Cycle series. That includes Taliesin, Merlin, Arthur, and Pendragon. I don't know if you have to read them in order. I'm gonna have to look into that first because it looks like Merlin is the second book of the series if you have to read them in order. He also has another trilogy called the Dragon King trilogy, so I don't know. He's got a lot of books that I'm interested in. So I saw this cover, and bonus, my brother-in-law's name is Merlin, so that's fun. Next is The Unicorn Dilemma by John Lee. Again, I don't know what it is about these like 80s vibes on covers. Like, this book was published in 1988, and I don't know, like, this cover is just awesome. And then like the side pages are like bright yellow. I know my mom hates yellow pages or even like tinted color pages for books. She likes it when it's just white. But yeah, I kind of like it that it's all like kind of bright yellow around the edges. That's kind of fun. And I have no idea what this is about other than I'm assuming unicorns. So we'll see how that goes. And lastly, this one was kind of, I would say risk, but I probably paid like 75 cents for it, so not that big of a risk. But this is the Penguin Book of Canadian Verse. So it's essentially Canadian poetry. And I've been really looking for a good poetry book that I can, you know, put as my favorite poetry book. Like, I don't have one right now, and I would really like to find one. So yeah, I'm excited to have this. I'm excited to go through it to see if I jive with these poems. And again, it's like 80s vibes, so it's really cool. Now, do you think I will be able to lift this stack of books without an avalanche? Oh no, I'm so not going to be able to. That's risky. I'm gonna move. Oh. Can you guys see it? Okay, this is my stack of books for this book haul. I'm really excited to get to some of these, which is really good because now with the libraries being closed, I'm gonna need some selection. So let me know if you guys have read any of these and what you thought of them, or if you've heard of any of them or any of the authors. Let's just chat books in the comments below. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!